And Miami is such a big draw that instead of going I figured it was going to be the North Dakota State game, or like somewhere else far flung that they usually don't go, because the major week for college game day is next week and the week after. Those are ones where it's like, yo, forget what you're talking about. Like, we're going here, we're going, whatever. But Miami is precipitating a first initial voyage for college game day out to the Bay to go to Cal this week. So that is, their maiden voyage out to Berkeley and everything. A wonderful college town. A friend of mine used to live out there for a couple of years, around the corner from the stadium. Does not live out there anymore, but a great little town and everything. And I'm sure that they're going to be featured on there. But let's be perfectly honest, it's because Miami's coming to town that college game day is going there. And then that backs up what Mark just brought up about last week's ratings as well. So, and it will be interesting to see what this week's ratings will be for a 10:30 Eastern time kickoff. Because, like those of us who are like majorly plugged in, or, like Mark, who, covers the landscape of college football, Pac-12 after dark, things like that, or maybe a Hawaii game that stays on until 2 or 3 in the morning, or 4 or whatever. Like, we are a very niche audience, you know what I mean? So I'm very interested to see what the widespread rating number is going to be, and how many other people who are not college football sycophants and degenerates like us stay up to, partake of Miami and super late. Because it's after prime time. It's late night, honestly, at that time. So, but hey, maybe they'll be flipping back and forth between SNL and Miami, because we'll be on at the same time.
Falconer, nervous about commies versus convicts game Saturday, Sunday.
Man, this meme, woke versus Coke. I've seen people calling it Cal and Miami. I mean, look, they're a solid team. They're a physical team. Mario said that, the Cal teams that, this Oregon team played were among the most physical that they would play on an annual basis, and everything. Talented in some skill areas. They've been very dynamic in the secondary. They lead America with 10 interceptions, so far. And then Jaden Ott, their star running back, has not necessarily gotten off yet to the point, to this point of the season, excuse me. But a player of his caliber is always one that, hey, maybe we should be concerned with. Last time we played Cal was bowl game, and they had Javid Best then, before he got his brain scrambled on that hit when he was with my Detroit Lions. So, again, respect all opponents and fear none. I do believe that Miami is the better team. The line opened at Miami minus 13, I want to say. So right around a touchdown or 2 touchdowns there. I think that that's fair and everything. But, again, if Miami goes out and does what Miami needs to do, I think that we'll be okay. And I'm also very interested, because Mario Cristobal has iterated this a couple of times. We're going to see the return of Ruben Hurricane Bain this weekend, finally. So that will be a welcome sight, especially because last week we just had so many random, hydration and like ankle and knee tweaks at defensive tackle that depth at that position was tested again against a physical Virginia Tech team. And Cal's going to be physical with it. So I'm not never scored touchdown. Yeah. Especially at the end. But again, I do believe that Miami is the better team. I do believe that, we should be able to get out there and get with a win. But I think they're thinking about moving Johnson to wide. They should think about moving Chris Johnson to wide receiver. I don't. I think, we did that same kind of thing with Brashard Smith before, and he's, departed to SMU, and he's their starting running back now. And you really see, that's really what he played all through his career. And especially being, 5'9.5", that really goes, that's more where he fits than slot. So credit to him and credit to Rhett Lashley and SMU and everything with what he's doing there. But I don't necessarily think moving Chris Johnson to wide receiver is a thing. But we do align him there in some instances. But even 2 games ago, Cam missed him because, he's wide open against a linebacker 3 games ago. That was the Ball State game. Wide open on a linebacker up the sideline, and he throws it late. Or what was that? USF. Either way, whatever. But you did that and you missed him in the one kind of play there. So I hear what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree.
I'm still a little upset with Cal for missing 2 field goals against Florida State in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, they would have beaten FSU, and I would have gotten a pick right. Or if they would have just made 1 out of 2, then they would have they would have needed to. Anyway, if they would have made 1 of the 2, then their red zone trip at the end of the game did not have to result in a touchdown. They could have kicked a field goal and won the game. So, and then I noticed that this Fernando Mendoza, the starting quarterback for Cal, is out of Columbus High School.
Miami Columbus, absolutely. So the same school, that Cristobal attended, and so many other guys. It's a legacy school here and everything. Miami did kick the tires on Mendoza as a walk-on, potentially, during when Manny Diaz was here. He elected not to take that opportunity and go for one of his scholarship opportunities, and was somewhere else, and then ended up at Cal. So yeah, he is a Miami kid, 6'5", 225. He is pretty mobile, and accurate as well. So, someone to contend with for the Miami defense for sure. And I'm sure that, and he was very respectful of Miami and everything, grew up in Miami, wanted to go to Miami and everything. It just didn't necessarily work out. So he'll obviously try his hardest to, ruin the season of the hometown team. And we will have to do our best just to continue to find ways not to allow that kind of a thing to happen. But yeah, so there is even the connection to Miami all the way out there in the Bay with their starting quarterback.
Yes, and Cal does have an odd football history. The last time they went to a major bowl game was way back in 1959, Rose Bowl. Joe Kapp. He's even older than I, so I couldn't even reference Joe Kapp, watching Joe Kapp. So if everybody's looking at me thinking, we don't know who Joe Kapp is, Mark, you're really aging yourself. No, just because I know football history. He led the Minnesota Vikings to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl IV. But Joe Kapp was then later the coach at Cal, but he was the quarterback that led them to the 1959 Rose Bowl. And Cal has not reached a major bowl game since. So they have had a very marginal, mediocre football history from a winning standpoint. But to Cam's point earlier, if you looked at their NFL player production in the last 20 years or so, I've seen lists where they've been fringe top 10 in regards to NFL player production.
I mean, yeah, look, man, especially since Aaron Rodgers, leading that list. And there's plenty of other guys, along with that. Jabba Best was a first-round pick. Yeah. Deshaun Jackson, hello.
Justin Forsett and Marshawn Lynch. Yeah.
It keeps going. I mean, I know that there's guys on defense as well. I don't have their names as readily at the top of my brain. But, yeah, Cal has had players and does have players as well. So Miami does need to, continue to bring their A game. Miami is traveling out to the West Coast tomorrow. So an extra day in advance to try to acclimate to the jet lag and time difference and everything. But, again, Kiko Mawinoa and Cam Ward played at Wazoo, so they're familiar with what the daily process is leading up to a late kick on the West Coast. Mario and half the staff worked at Oregon, same thing. And honestly, you're already seeing the structures in place by saying on Monday, we're traveling out on Thursday. So we're going up a day early. This helps all these things. It helps the recovery. It helps the sleep. It helps. All of that stuff is known. And again, if you're trying to run the program that we are trying to run, and you have these guys who desire to be professionals, you got to deal with this kind of stuff. So we're putting you in a position, and we have this organizational structures in place to build for success. And yeah, just traveling out there and then, just following whatever that procedure is. And again, we've seen additional procedures be implemented through that long 3-hour rain delay or lightning delay a couple games ago and things like that. Travel up to Gainesville, how'd that go? Travel up to Tampa, how's that go? Things like that. So yeah, not concerned from a structural standpoint. From a performance standpoint, I do believe that last week was a wake-up call. I do believe that obviously, I will stand by it. That holding call saved that from being a blowout Miami win. But in the fact that it wasn't, and we saw some of the deficiencies along the way, particularly tackling, Miami missed more tackles against Virginia Tech than they had the entire season leading up to that point. And some of that is credit to Virginia Tech being, good and, physical and, continuing to play hard through the echo of the whistle. But dude, come on, even that's exponential. You know what I mean? Like 100, I think it was 125%. You know what I mean? I think we missed 20 or 18 tackles the whole season and missed 23 or 24 in that one game. What? What? Come on. But, my guy, Mike McCoy, is the one who asked Kiko Mawanoa about the tackling and everything when he said, I guarantee you the next time you see Miami play, it's going to be different. Kiko, I hold you to that. Also, shout out to Mike McCoy again. He was the one who asked Cristobal the question on who stepped up at halftime, where the answer is, this is not Hollywood, this is football, and you got to be a grown-ass man and do grown-ass man stuff. Our guy, Mike McCoy, asked both of those questions that engendered those really incredible responses. I hate that, and I tried to get it out there, but my phone reset as I was going back up to the booth and everything. So I wish that it was known that he's the one who said that. So I wanted to put that out there for him. To give him the credit, man, because he asked two really great questions. He got two really great responses, one from the head coach, one from the captain, middle linebacker. But I'm going to hold Kiko to that, where he says it's going to be different and going to be better, in terms of not missing tackles. The next time that you see Miami, the next time we see him is this Saturday night at 10:30, and I expect that to, that proclamation to come true.
If my recollection is correct, the last time that Miami went to the West Coast for a regular season game would have been the year that they went and lost to Washington in 2000. And obviously there was a little round robin between Washington, Florida State, and Miami at 11-1 to determine who would play Oklahoma in the BCS championship game. And then the last trip overall for Miami would have been at the Rose Bowl for the BCS championship game in 2001/2 against Nebraska.
Well, no, I mean, we did play that bowl game, I believe, in San Francisco against Cal previously.
That was in 2007?
Yeah, something like that. So, okay. I mean, but
and
then other than, going to the place where civilization goes to die, El Paso, Texas. Yeah, this is pretty much.
I'm going all the way to the West Coast.
No, yes. But that's what I'm saying. The only other option is El Paso, Texas, other than those couple of times all the way to the West Coast. Because, we haven't played anybody else out there. So, look, it'll be great. I mean, there are hurricanes everywhere. So I know that there are people in the Bay Area. I know that there are people around California and the West Coast who are going to come down for that game and everything. So, yeah, it'll be a great show late at night and everything. And I'll have just obviously I've taken a couple of naps to be fully dialed in, and I'm sure that the Miami Hurricanes will do the same thing. And as Muhammad Hussein says, Cam, all I got to say is 5-0. I'm with you, man. And again, I put it at the top of the good, the bad, the ugly every week. I'm celebrating this win because winning is not easy, and I know that it's tough when you win 61-0 and say that, but this is what it is. Sometimes a bad call does change the entire scope of a ball game, and you just got to keep fighting. You got to keep chopping wood, rowing the boat, one foot in front of the other, whatever analogy you want to, put there. And Miami found a way to do it. So, yeah, man, very excited to be 5-0. We earned a hard-fought victory. A Virginia Tech team that does have talent and had their back against the wall, and they were, Miami always gets everybody's best, but especially this year, we're going to be the Super Bowl for a lot of teams because, even as you're looking further down the line, I know Louisville was expecting or hoping to be undefeated in week 7 when Miami goes there, but they lost to Notre Dame. You think that they wouldn't delight in beating a Miami team? You think that Florida State, for all of their failings and probably going to Brock Glenn now because DJ Uiagalelei might have a broken hand, finger, whatever thing. I mean, we've seen it happen. Right? When we lost to them 3 years ago and should not have, you know what I mean? You think they wouldn't? Also 5-0 undefeated Duke, Manny Diaz, who was unceremoniously thrown to the side so we can get Mario Cristobal. You think that he would not love anything more than to ruin a Miami season? So yeah, we're going to be the Super Bowl for a lot of these teams. It's going to be all-out effort, leave everything on the field because they want to be known as the team to derail this train. So, it's incumbent upon Miami to continue to improve, to continue to move forward and everything. And, continue to see development from players all over the roster. Shout out to Justin Scott, who continues to play more, true freshman 5-star defensive tackle, playing like a potential freshman All-American inside. And like, hey, inside defensive tackle, that's grown man area. Like it usually takes, for offensive linemen, you don't see many interior linemen start as freshmen. Those are guys who are much older, 20, 21, 22, 23, and you're going toe-to-toe with them. And I know that hey, he's blessed with uncommon size and strength, but there's still that grown man strength where if you have any kind of age to you, it hits a little bit different. Shout out to him. Shout out to Malik Bryant for his development. It was a changed call. Mario had to stop himself from giving away the scheme, but they saw something. So Virginia Tech thought they saw something from Miami to go for the fake field goal. And because Miami aligned a certain way. And then when they saw whatever it was with whomever, either it was personnel or alignment, Mish Powell said, change this up. And then he makes that play and made even other plays. So you're seeing development up and down the roster and things, and all of that needs to continue. And Miami really does, honestly, like we said, or I've been saying, clean up the turnover issues. And they really haven't been prevalent. They were, a lot last game. But if you stop giving the ball to the other team, I think that will be successful.
Falconer coming back with 5-0 versus 1-4. It's great to be a Cane.
Absolutely.
And then we've got Falconer TRX. Love the depth and the development.
Okay, that's what it's all about. And Marsh Thomas wrote a piece about that on stateoftheu.com also, so you should be sure to check that out.
How else is State of the U getting us primed for Saturday night?
Man, we have all kinds of great stuff over there. Film forecast is coming up tomorrow. We have ACC power rankings, State of Florida football power rankings. Got another couple of pieces. Maybe looking at the power struggle between conferences with the Big Ten and the SEC. You're really trying to make it a two-conference landscape, things like that. I put the game day piece up, all that and more. So please come on over and fan with us, stateoftheu.com, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The State of the U. My personal Twitter is at Underwood Sports. So, yeah, we're always open, and we have tons of great stuff. You're going to have great stuff coming from this game and afterwards as well, leading into the bye week, where I know, and I do have my notes here next to me, where we do have a couple of topics for the show, specifically, and then hopefully just recap the first, half of the season, because it'll be 6 games down and 6 games to go, and going from there. So, yeah, always, always open, always about the Hurricanes over there, because, we're pissed off for greatness, baby. StateofTheU.com.